And now we will pass on other two great examples regarding the prioritizing places and people that need it most. We have another example of a project winner of a NAP Prize 2021 regarding the development of ambitious social housing projects. And we have today with us Mr. Eduard Cabré, housing policy consultant at Barcelona Housing Department, that will show us and tell us a bit more about the APROP Ciutat Vella project, emergency housing. This is the case of the first building designed built in the proximity provisional accommodation program promoted by the city of Barcelona. So Eduard, please, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you very much for inviting us to present at this event. As Besiana was saying, I'm going to briefly tell you about this temporary social housing program that the city is working on. But before I do that, I wanted to briefly tell you a little bit about our context in Barcelona. As is the case in many European cities, in the last few years, housing prices have been rising a lot. And this is especially troubling in a city and in a country, Spain, where less than 2% of our housing stock is public or social housing. So we really have very limited tools to respond to this type of housing emergencies and housing crisis. And this is also happening at the same time where our homeless population is growing. Again, this is something that is happening in many other cities, but in our case, we are extremely limited by the amount of housing that we own and we can manage. The city of Barcelona is making a big effort to increase its public and social housing stock. And in order to do that, the city is both increasing its public housing stock through different programs, as well as partnering with private, non-profit and limited profit developers to increase the affordable and social housing stock. And we are also acquiring housing units in the private sector, as well as providing incentive to temporarily mobilize some of those units to be used as affordable housing. But how does APROP fit in all of that? Well, APROP is a new social housing model that really is providing emergency housing to people that find themselves in housing emergency situations. That is, people that are being displaced and for whom we don't have alternative, more permanent housing solutions, and we temporarily allocate a unit within this program for them to stay for a short period of time. The goal of the program is really to be able to respond to these housing emergency situations in the shorter time possible. So one of the main goals of the program was really to cut down construction time, because this is, for the most part, the main challenge that we confront when it comes to delivering affordable housing. We also wanted to do it in an adaptable way, in a flexible way, that allowed us to build housing in places where maybe later in time we will develop other type of public facilities, but for which we don't have the budget to develop. And so while that piece of land remains vacant, we can provide this housing, and we can locate this temporary housing in those spots. And we also wanted to do it in the most sustainable way. So we are making an effort to use recycled materials as well as nature-based materials to make sure that our projects are the most sustainable possible. We didn't invent something from scratch. We really looked at what other cities had been doing, especially in using recycled materials. And one tool or one material that we finally decided upon was the use of recycled shipping containers. This has been used in other countries especially for student housing, but we saw a potential for them to be also used for residential uses. And so really here, the concept was to use the structure of the shipping container as the structure of the building, because we're not providing the building with additional structure, but just by piling the shipping containers that are already designed in the factory, we can really reduce the construction times. And more importantly, we are reducing the carbon footprint as well as the energy consumption during construction. I briefly mentioned this. These buildings are located in empty plots of land that the city owns in the city. A lot of them that were meant for other types of public facilities, but because these are not fully housing units, but what our legal framework defines as accommodations, they can be located in pieces of land where public facilities are meant to be built, because they are technically a facility. They're not a regular residential building, they are a facility. And so that's where we can build them. Because they are temporary accommodations, they are really meant for people who find themselves in extremely vulnerable and emergency situations, and for whom we don't have more permanent housing solutions. And so the idea is that people will remain in these units for 2 years maximum. And in the meanwhile, we will help them find a solution on their own, or we will help them apply for a permanent public housing solution in our own public housing stock. These buildings, beyond providing housing, they also have public spaces that are open to the surrounding community and the city at whole. And so these are both, private enclosed spaces, meeting rooms, and so on, and also open spaces on the rooftops or on the ground floor, where we invite residents and other groups to also, participate in public activities together with the residents. So just getting into the buildings per se, we have two apartment sizes. The 1-bedrooms, which are really one shipping container that has been adapted to host one single bedroom unit. And so some pictures of the units. By the way, they are all furnished, because again, these are temporary accommodations, so we don't want people to be burdened by having to furnish them and find the appropriate furniture. And then we have the 2-bedroom flats, which are really 2 shipping containers put together with 2 bedrooms, and which can host up to a family of 4 members. These units are completely equipped with everything that any other housing unit would have, fully equipped kitchen, bathroom, completely accessible. And the first building that was delivered under this model is the one that was awarded under the European Bauhaus project. It's located in the very core, old town quarter in the city. It consists of 12 units, 4 2-bedrooms and 8 1-bedrooms. And it also has a space on the ground floor, which is now being used by the neighboring healthcare facility as a decentralized space. It was especially used during COVID for vaccination, but the idea is that it will be used to provide direct services to the public on behalf of this health facility. Here you see also the units and the rooftop where we're going to be locating solar panels, as well as a small garden for the neighbors. Here you see some pictures of the community engagement that took place prior to the construction, as well as the construction of the structure with the shipping containers. Again, this took about 5 months, so it really shortened our construction times, and how it looks like in the end, which again, I think also from an aesthetical point of view is really appealing and really speaks to the goals of the European Bauhaus. Moving forward, we have 2 projects following the same model, which are ongoing. The one on the left, which is now finalizing construction. Here you see the design on the ground floor, again, mixing open spaces for the community, as well as private spaces for the residents, as well as for social services to provide the necessary support to the community. And then there's also going to be a garden on the back side that is going to be open to other collectives and groups, and is going to be programmed by our social services. Here you see the design. In this building, it's mostly going to be 2 bedrooms, so mainly for families as well as youngsters. And here you have the design. So I wanted to just keep a bit of time to show a short video on some of these projects. Here you have the websites to find some more information, but if we have time to show maybe one of 1 or 2 minutes of the videos, that would be appreciated. Yeah, so here you really see the construction process, how it occurred really quickly. There were also some images of the inside, but I think we already you already saw that on the pictures. And if you have any question, I can answer it on the chat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eduard, especially for keeping the time. I know we are running a bit late, and we will make sure to share all the details and the video with all our colleagues, and also to take all the questions related to this great example of how a project can contribute to the new European Bauhaus. And now we will move to another example, an Interreg example of putting the focus on the part of the people needing it most, and showing how community services, bringing different communities, can somehow bring new solutions to address specific needs. In this, we have invited Ms. Chiara Casarella, Program Officer at the JS Joint Secretariat of the Interreg Central Europe, to showcase their project integrating refugees in society and the labor market through social innovation. You have a very specific pilot project regarding this aspect, Chiara, so I will not add any additional word to it. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you see my screen? Yes, I think you can, because you're nodding. Thank you very much for inviting me, and to the organizers and to the other speakers. It's been very interesting. I'll be very quick because it's more important for me to show you the video that we have. It's a 2 minutes, 40 seconds video. But just to give you a short introduction, like Besiana said, we are the Central Europe program, transnational cooperation program. We are working towards improvement of regional policies in Central Europe. You can see the map that shows our area. The project I will be speaking about, just giving you really a pill of what the project did, and you can ask questions or ask for more information later on, was developed within the innovation priority. When we talk about innovation in our program, we don't just talk about technological innovation, but also about social innovation and social entrepreneurship solutions. And in 2018, we launched a call that was specifically devoted to dealing with migration-related challenges. In that occasion, so you can see we had a total of 138 projects in the 7-year lifetime of the program 2014-2020. On that occasion, 4 years ago already, we had 5 projects dealing with migration-related challenges. We asked specifically to come up with solutions in that sense to our stakeholders. And I will be speaking about the C4Ref. So this means social innovation for refugee integration. Among the projects dealing with migration-related challenges that we had, C4F was the one specifically dealing with integration of asylum seekers or already recognized refugees. And that was particularly interesting for us. The other projects were dealing with entrepreneurship for people with a migrant background, but this one was really concentrating on finding solutions for social integration or integration of refugees through the labor market. As you can see from the slide, they created a toolbox of different solutions and approaches, and they have that they tested in 5 different cities. So one interesting element of this project was also that it was a urban project. So the testing and the solutions of integration were carried out in urban environments. Thanks to the 7 pilot actions. So in Vienna and in Berlin, there were 2 pilot actions, so 2 testing phases, and in the other cities, only 1 each. And thanks to these pilot actions, they then came up with a transnational strategy, and most importantly, of course, recommendations for policymakers, so that they can help communities work together for the integration of refugees. I will be showing the video about the social caretaker project. So it's the pilot action that was developed by Parma, by the Comune di Parma, and together with the Center for Immigration, Asylum and Cooperation. Basically what they did, they after the legal recognitions of, in this specific case, Junior and Believe, a couple of refugees from Nigeria, they provided housing for Junior and Believe, and they trained them to become portieri sociali, so social caretaker. I'm sure some of you know or remember that in some of the apartment blocks, traditionally in Italy and also in other European countries, the ground floor flat was dedicated to those who actually lived there and also worked for the maintenance of the building and for the community. And so the Comune di Parma, the municipality of Parma, gave this flat, so provided housing to this couple. And in turn, they would be helping the community with everyday commitments, or they would be helping the neighbors or elderly neighbors, for example, do the groceries or small maintenance in the building or in the flats of the people and in the community. That was, of course, very interesting, and I would say also very successful. And we are going to show you a video where Junior and Believe speak about this experience. I will not go into more details. I think that if you'd like to know more about this experience, this pilot action, and about the project, you can find all the information, and we will be providing all the links and the website. What I think is very interesting in this example that we will show, but what I've heard so far until now from all the other speakers, is that we are talking about people, and we are talking about communities and improving the lives and livelihoods of people who work together, and who work together, who live together, actually. So I think that is in a way what unites all the initiatives that I've heard. It's really about improving livelihoods and improving the sense of living together. Just one more thing before I ask Interact Besiana to show the video. We have, as a Central Europe program, we have collected all the tools and initiatives that might be interesting for the public on what we have reached thanks to our project in supporting local administrations and people working with refugees in general. You can find the link to this collection of experiences, of tools and of solutions that we have achieved thanks to our project on this on our website, and in particularly on that link. So that was it was also very interesting to collect everything and to be able to showcase everything that was done by the program so far. So within the 2014-2020 projects that we have funded. So I think that's it from my end. Of course, I'm very happy to share more, and if you can share now the video, and that would be it from my end.
My name is Junior. I'm the Irabe è la moglie di Giugno.
Il Comune di Parma ha messo a disposizione di queste persone 2 appartamenti in cui vivere e loro a loro volta restituiscono attività di portierato sociale che appunto vanno a beneficio dell'intera collettività del quartiere.
This place we are, I really like it. We are here to help. I joined them to paint the community hall where they do many activities.
Con l'aiuto di questo progetto abbiamo amici e adesso abitiamo insieme da lavoro tra poco che siamo qua. Anche ha tempo per aiutare gli anziani se hanno bisogno di una mano. Adesso abitiamo qua e siamo felici in questa casa.
And so the neighbors, since we came here, the neighbors, they are very nice, they are good people. We live together, we live happily, we are jovial together, we do everything together.
Il Comune di Parma crede fortemente e da sempre in un'idea di l'accoglienza delle persone rifugiate, richiedenti asilo e di tutti gli stranieri. Noi cerchiamo di portare avanti non solo un'idea di offerta di posti letto, ma progetti di inclusione. Quindi il progetto di portierato sociale di Parma è un'occasione per sperimentare per vedere che cosa può funzionare meglio rispetto agli obiettivi. Gli obiettivi sono sempre duplici. Da una parte questi progetti e queste buone prassi aiutano l'inclusione e l'integrazione delle persone che accogliamo, dall'altra però c'è anche l'obiettivo di lavorare sulla comunità accogliente, sperimentare delle buone prassi che facciano emergere il valore e le potenzialità delle persone che accogliamo è sicuramente un ottimo messaggio anche per i cittadini e per la comunità.